On today's wrestling news, is Brock Lesnar done with WWE?
Tony Khan teases even more major AEW announcements very soon.
An AEW star has been removed from TV.
Gunther's Wrestlemania 39 opponent is set to be decided on next week's SmackDown.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil James and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan and Salty Sea Dog to talk all things wrestling news. But before we get into it, make sure you like the video, comment down below what you think of each of today's stories. Links to each story is in the description below, so click the timestamp and off you go. Subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. But first up, Brock Lesnar has been going around, apparently, backstage on Raw, saying his goodbyes to some people. And saying that he was finishing up soon. Now, this is coming from PW Insider. And I guess this could mean that almost could be potentially Brock Lesnar's last match in WWE, which is hilarious. A source did say to PW Insider that it does not necessarily mean that he is done, completely after Mania. But yeah, just that he's been going around saying his goodbyes backstage. Now, since Brock Lesnar came back in 2012, he has basically been signing a bunch of shorter time contracts that often finish around Mania time. So he kind of goes Mania to Mania with all his contracts. So that could be the case here, but there's no sort of firm details about what his contract is or when it's up or anything like that. He is 45 now, so I guess getting on a bit, but look at him, he can still go, very much so. And he definitely doesn't have as grueling a schedule as a lot of other people, let's say. But there was a news earlier this week that Fightful came out with saying that he turned down the Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania because he just didn't fancy that spooky bollocks. And that's what ended up with the kind of pivot to Omos and the weird ending to the Elimination Chamber match with Bobby Lashley. So I guess if Brock Lesnar isn't feeling it anymore, or isn't feeling the creative and isn't invested in it, we know what happens when Brock Lesnar isn't invested in the product. And obviously it's been reported that he's been really good friends with Vince McMahon, and with him not being as involved with the creative side of things, maybe this is leading to him leaving. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess. The only firm thing we can say is that he's been backstage at Raw saying his goodbyes to people, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it is, and what a way to go out, I guess. It's going to be fun. The closer we get in towards WrestleMania now, I'm kind of here for it. I want to see Brock try and lift that guy, then throw him as far as he can. That's what I want to watch. But if this is the end, again, it's not been concrete that, made official that this is going to be... this is what Brock does. He's done it for years and years and years. He, kind of hints and suggests, probably leak a few things here or there, maybe even put out a few feels to UFC, because you never know, never say never. John Jones has just come back, have a big thing with that. He does that.
And then he doubles his contract and makes loads and loads of money.
That's it. And it'll be in the main event of SummerSlam, fighting Cody Rhodes, and he'll win both the belts, and we'll all just riot. That could very reasonably happen in this crazy world of wrestling, but... I don't know, it's another little layer to what's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's going to get people even more invested if they do think this is the last time we're going to see Brock Lesnar. The guy's smart. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for a long time, so...
Genuinely, though, if Omos is the guy to put Brock Lesnar out and then he goes off to retire, that would be an incredible finish.
Yeah, that'd be epic. So,
nobody would have bet anybody on this.
He's going to win the belts, almost, and yeah, it's going to happen. And Money in the Bank, you heard it first. He's going to throw Cody out of the O2 Arena and win the
belts. The roof.
Off the roof. Into the water. Great stuff. But speaking of huge moments... Yeah, Tony's big announcement. CM Punk has been... Tony Khan's been talking about more announcements, because it wouldn't be a week in AEW without a big announcement on the horizon, would it?
Promoter's got to promote.
He's been doing a lot of that recently. So obviously, a lot of us will remember, it was a week or so ago that Tony had this big, huge, I can't remember what the exact phrasing was, because people get very technical about it. It wasn't a major one, it was a huge one. They're very different, so whatever it is. He had an announcement, and the announcement was All Access. That's that show that's going to follow AEW I think it starts this month. It's going to be a reveal all behind the scenes kind of thing. I'm quite excited for that, actually, because I love that kind of stuff. So that is quite cool. Maybe underwhelmed some people who thought he was just going to say CM Punk's back. I don't think that was going to happen. But he's now gone on Twitter and gone full Tony Khan, and I don't mean he's started firing more shots at Ariel Helwani. That's not happened yet. But he's been hyping up Rampage that happened last night and everything that's going to get down this weekend with Revolution. And on the back of that, he said that it's going to be 2023 is going to be the biggest AEW year to date. So He's doing it, Tony. He's going to keep building it. And after that, he said,
here for you tonight.
in 9 days, it's going to start. It's going to be good. So he went crazy after that as well. He said there's going to be more major announcements coming soon that are important to AEW and our fans. So whether that means just important, we can dive into this for hours really, but whether that just means important in terms of like for growing the brand of AEW and growing the outreach to fans, or it's just going to be a really cool crowd popping moment that the fans are going to love. It could be anything at this point with Tony, because we've seen over the years these announcements come in all shapes and sizes. So maybe we get this on Revolution. Maybe there's a big thing that happens. He says there's going to be the Owen Hart tournament's going to kick off again, leading up to Double or Nothing. Maybe it's like I don't know. Maybe there's going to be more belts. That's what AEW needs. More belts.
Absolutely. Maybe it's. I mean, there's lots of there's stuff about their TV rights deals coming up. Maybe he's cemented a great TV rights deal for them. Who the hell knows at this point with Tony Khan? It could be, like, the spectrum of what these can be is so wide right now. I mean, it's basically the boy who cried announcement.
Yeah.
It's like he needs to maybe come up with different ways of doing this. But, I mean, hey, he's a promoter and he's got to promote. What else is he going to do?
I was talking.
We're just going to have to wait and see what it is, I guess. But speaking of AEW, Saw has been sort of quietly removed from TV recently. Now, this is coming from the Wrestling Observer and Dave Meltzer, saying that Rebel is no longer being used by AEW. Apparently, sources say that with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter kind of turning into that kind of face role, going up against Saraya and Toni Storm, it was felt that Rebel just no longer worked as part of that act. And so she's been kind of quietly removed from TV and isn't being used from this, for like going forwards. So I think this is a big shame, to be honest. I think Rebel was a really great part of that act with Britt Baker and then with Jamie Hayter as well when she came in. She's really entertaining. She's she's always been there when Britt Baker's side, and I don't know why they couldn't have found a way to turn her at the same time as they did with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
Or maybe even have her as like a devil on the shoulder of one of them. Do you know what I mean? On Jamie Hayter or Britt's kind of going, oh, if we went back to our old ways, we could do this. And then you can have that eventual turn in between those characters. I think, like you're saying, there's a lot to do with her. She's an entertaining character. She's a character that's been there for quite some time. A lot of people are not as heavily invested as what they are in Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, but they still know her and she's still recognisable and she'd offer something. So I don't know. It's a bit of a sad one, that.
Yeah, I always enjoyed her reactions and things, and she was just like a little bit of chaos energy in the mix of that group. And it's like, yeah, they definitely could have done more with this, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but speaking of things that companies are going to do more with, Gunther, they're going to do a lot more with him going up to WrestleMania, even though they've been doing an awful lot already. I digress. But there's going to be big stuff going down with this Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. A lot of people were thinking for a time, we're going to see Brock Lesnar against Gunther. That's going to be a huge thing. We obviously didn't get there. Bit of a shame. But what we're going to have instead, it looks like it could be quite fun, because on SmackDown we had the typical promo train of Drew McIntyre coming out and saying that he wanted to batter Gunther and get the IC title. That annoyed Sheamus. Sheamus came out and went, fella, I want that belt. And they started screaming at each other. Then LA Knight came out, and then Kofi Kingston came out, and Karrion Kross came out. They all came out. It was great. It was a lot of that, a lot of good stuff. So these 5 entities started battling and brawling, because that's just what you do when you say you want a match. Everyone just starts fighting. And now there's going to be a fatal 5-way to determine the number 1 contender for WrestleMania's Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther, because that's how Triple H books his number 1 contenders. Put everyone in a match and just see what happens. And I'm kind of here for it, because I don't think I'm going to be that upset with anybody. Whoever wins this match, I think there's something you could do, really. And I think it'd help elevate maybe a Karrion Kross or an LA Knight, just kind of get them a bit higher up the card. Or the rumour has been for a while now that there was going to be a 3-way between Gunther, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. And you already saw the tension there between these two Celtic banger bros who were getting very upset with each other. And Drew kept saying, I don't have to ask permission for me to wipe my own ass, Sheamus. It was very strange promo. And on top of that, there was another announcement of Braun Strowman and Ricochet taking on the Viking Raiders for next week's SmackDown too. So, you got that to look forward to. Yeah.
I mean, that'll be really good fun. I like the Viking Raiders. They need to do more with them, to be fair. And maybe calm down on the Viking stuff and just have them be really, really, really great tag team. Anyway, that's a different thing. It'd be interesting to see, like, the rumour was the triple threat for the Gunther at the Mania, which would have been amazing. But it'd be interesting.
They could still
get that. They could. Maybe if they're the last 2 in the match or something, and then they have the screwy finish or something.
A Claymore bro kick.
Bro, double down.
Bang. Both down. I'd love that.
That'll work. There's definitely a way of getting there. But yeah, into it. Big men slapping man meat. That's how it works. Definitely.
Slapping man meat. There he is. Good morning, everybody.
Anyway, let's move over to the other questions on that note. The first one comes from Eddie Zamery, who says, what is your Mount Rushmore of best gear in wrestling?
It's a great question, but my goodness, is that hard.
Yeah, there is a lot of choice out there. Let's do two each.
Yeah, two each, okay. So I think for classics, the old school, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, you got to go Bret Hart, and whatever variation of Bret Hart you want, really, because there's not exactly a bad one. And yeah I think Michael Hamflett will appreciate that as well, and Andrew Pollard.
Do you want to go? I'm going to go in just with Goldust, because let's make
great.
Just like in terms of just pure over the top, literally head to toe, absolutely everything is gear.
Yeah, I like that. And I'll see your Goldust and raise you a star, but no. I think, okay. I'll go more modern times. I'll go Bianca Belair, because I think she always pulls it out of, just knocks it out of the park, really, with all the gears. And the fact she makes them herself is really cool as well, so I'll put Bianca Belair on there.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of, like, they just kind of go mad these days, don't they? Like, look at Seth Rollins changing it up all the goddamn time. But yeah, in terms of just best, I'm going to go for the trousers alone, Okada in New Japan, because he just has the best trousers in the world. They're incredible. The guy just took in all the robes and everything else that goes along with it. He's got some good gear. So there we go.
Like that.
Next question comes from Game Crazy TTV, who says, here's a pic of my replica Pumpkinhead Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. Now here's his question. What video game character would you use as a gimmick for a wrestler?
Ooh. What, for ourselves or for another wrestler?
You were going to be a wrestler based on a video game character.
If I put on about 50 kilograms of muscle, Kratos. I'd love to meet Kratos, because that's just a grunting, very like deep and just tortured soul, but just likes grunting and hitting people with an axe. So yeah, I'd like that one. What about you, Phil?
Fair. I am going to put myself up against Kratos in definitely the main event of Wrestlemania. There's Bowser.
Wow. Yeah, I'm in.
Speaking of big man slapping man meat.
Just got it on the plate today, haven't you, Phil?
Kratos versus Bowser.
Oh, there's your promotion for this new Super Mario Bros. Movie that's coming out. My God.
I don't know how they tie in the whole stealing princesses thing into...
well, you steal my son. That's what you can do. You can steal my son, Loki. Spoilers. There you go. You steal my son, and I'll just chase after you screaming, Bowser. There you go.
There you go. Final question of the day comes from That Matt, who says, which luchador had your favorite mask?
Coming at me with the hard questions today. I'd say for sheer nostalgia, because I was a Here Comes the Pain boy growing up, loved playing Here Comes the Pain, kind of the thing that introduced me to wrestling in a way, that WrestleMania 20, and he was on both of those things. Ultimo Dragon, that mask with the little like shoulder thing, it was outstanding. That had me hooked. I thought he was the coolest thing since sliced bread.
Fair. Good one. Yeah, it's great. There's loads of good ones. La Parka's great. I always enjoy the kind of like skull theme thing. And then just like the massively over the top ones. But I will have to say, I did go to Mexico and get myself a mask. Here we go. Ew.
Wow. Here he is.
There we go. Hurricane Ramirez.
Oh,
I just like the classic stylings. The guy who invented the Hurricane Rana, obviously.
Really? I thought you were El Chamberlino there. That's what I thought you were.
This is definitely comfortable. And on that note, let's finish the video. You can follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth
at MasklessGMorgan04, apparently.
You can follow all of us at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you like the video, obviously. Why wouldn't you? Comment down below what you think of all of today's stories, including your favorite luchador masks and who you think's got the best gear in wrestling. And more videos are coming up, ups and downs, for SmackDown and Rampage, so make sure you watch them. And most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Phil, it looks like I just lost a mask versus hair match. You horrible man. Bye.